Hello and thanks for joining us for THV 11 News at noon. I'm Jurnee Taylor. It's summer cereal drive season here at THV 11 and we're starting the afternoon in Russellville with our chief meteorologist, Tom Brannon. Tom, you've been collecting cereal all morning. I know it was a big day in Bryant yesterday. How are things going up there in Russellville?
Yeah. Things are going quite well. Thank you, Jurnee. Things are going well here in Russellville. I'm going to step out of the way and let Chris take a shot of the cereal we've collected here. We've got 3 huge watermelon bins full of cereal. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to need some help out of Scott Covert. This is his hometown. I need 300 boxes to make it an even 2,000 boxes here for the Russellville area. 3 food pantries are going to benefit the River Valley Food for Kids. First UMC Manor House and Main Street Mission will split the cereal and take it back to their pantries for distribution immediately. We're going to have the final totals coming up in just a little while. You still have time to come see us here in Russellville at the Kroger.
All right, thank you, Tom. We'll go back out to him in just a second in Russellville. Now it's time to check in with meteorologist Scott Covert. I know you may know a few people in Russellville. He said 300 boxes.
300 boxes.
Who can you call?
30 minutes to go.
Yeah.
That's 10 boxes, 30 boxes. I'm struggling to do quick math. 100 boxes every 10 minutes.
Right, there we go.
Whew, that was really tough. Let's take a look at what's happening outside going into the next few hours. Temperature-wise, we're at 86 right now. We're in the 90s across parts of Arkansas. We'll continue warming up. However, there is a cold front moving through the state right now. Let's take a look at that. Temperatures in the northeastern part of the state are a little bit cooler as a result of that front. You can see some showers associated with it. In fact, we do have a chance of showers and storms today. A couple of those storms could be on the strong side, 92 the high. If you've been outside any at all the last couple of days, and I know Journey's about to talk to you about it, we've had all that smoke and the haze. Right now, our air quality in the moderate, which is a yellow. We get a little bit more of that smoke and we may have to bump that up into the code orange. We also got brand new information this morning about our ongoing drought. It's worsening in the northern half of the state. This is your latest drought monitor. You might be asking, Scott, is there any chance of rain in sight? Yes, not only today, but a better opportunity for some meaningful, much needed rainfall this weekend. That forecast is straight ahead.
All right, Scott, thank you. Well, hazardous air is still affecting tens of millions of Americans. This same dangerous haze and smog is fueled by hundreds of wildfires in Canada, many burning out.
A heavy layer of smoke covered New York City in a dark orange glow Wednesday. More than a dozen states faced air quality alerts, with the haze obscuring the Statue of Liberty as well as downtown Philadelphia and historic landmarks in the nation's capital.
All New Yorkers should limit outdoor activity to the greatest extent possible.
In New York, Mayor Eric Adams said the air quality was at its worst since the 1960s. On Broadway, the conditions prompted 2 musicals to cancel their shows. The New York Liberty postponed its WNBA game, and the Yankees rescheduled their matchup with the Chicago White Sox, turning away some fans at the stadium.
Definitely for the air quality, it should be the right decision.
It all comes after an unusually early and intense start to Canada's wildfire season. More than 400 wildfires are burning across the country, over half of them still out of control.
This is a visceral reminder of the climate crisis that's in front of us all.
Vijay LeMay is a senior scientist with the National Resources Defense Council. He warned that as climate change makes the weather more extreme, the public health risks grow. In this case, he pointed to elevated levels of PM 2.5, toxic microscopic particles that are carried by the wildfire smoke.
We have never seen over the past 2 decades PM 2.5 levels like they are in New York City. We're seeing air quality levels that are 3 to 5 times higher than that national limit.
Health officials say people should stay indoors as much as possible. The most vulnerable people are young children, the elderly, and anybody with pre-existing heart or lung conditions such as asthma or COPD. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, New York.
We go now to an update on tornado recovery efforts. The city of Little Rock is extending the cleanup deadline from June 11th to June 25th. Also news many have been waiting to hear about: donation dollars, how they'll be handed out and who would do it. Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says United Way will be the city's third-party administrator to ensure that the direct pay assistance gets to Little Rock residents. Soon after the EF3 tornado, We've reported the city of Little Rock collected roughly $510,000 in donations since March 31st. The mayor says those would be split up between local organizations and individual grants. He also mentioned plans to distribute more than $300,000 to homes in need. The other 40% will go to churches, Goodwill, and disaster relief groups.
We're working through the final negotiations on that paperwork. We'll have more information to share, but did want to follow up from the last meeting, last briefing, that United Way will be our third-party administrator. We do appreciate them. There will come administrative costs, as I shared at the last briefing. That administrative cost will not come from the $500,000+ of donations. That'll come from the city of Little Rock. We'll work with the city board. I believe somewhere around 15%.
The city will have to pay for United Way services, but the money won't come from the donated money, rather the city's general revenue fund. He anticipates it will cost about $50,000. The city of Little Rock is considering expanding curfew laws with a special meeting planned next week to make a decision. Right now, the curfew is from Sunday to Thursday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The new ordinance will add a special rule for weekends, forcing kids and teens to be inside from midnight to 5 a.m. Also, no unsupervised minors will be allowed in an entertainment district after 9 p.m. Now, that would apply to downtown Little Rock. Gabe Holstrom, the executive director of the Downtown Little Rock Partnership, sees it as a necessary change.
It's just one of those things where there are areas where it's good for kids to be, and there's areas that kids shouldn't be after a certain time.
Ahead of the next week's meeting, the Little Rock Police Department has also expressed their support of a stricter curfew. Well, a man convicted of killing a couple while street racing will spend 1 year in jail. Byron Chavez Velasquez received the maximum sentence for 2 counts of negligent homicide. He was 18 years old, racing on a Saturday afternoon in March of last year when he rear-ended the victim's car on I-30 in Little Rock. Inside was Jeremy and Trisha McCool. The impact forced them into a line of trees, and they were thrown out of the vehicle and died from their injuries. The police report showed Velasquez didn't have a license and was driving someone else's car. It's been a challenging 3 years for hospitals, working through challenges brought on by the pandemic. While a lot of things have gotten back to normal, those issues still linger, especially for rural hospitals. The CEO of DeWitt Hospital and Nursing Home, Brian Miller, says they are crucial to their community, but the problems of staffing and funding are problems that were there long before the pandemic, even leading them to stop offering services years ago.
We don't have surgeries anymore. We don't deliver babies. We're a very basic critical access hospital, so we had already crossed that road.
The hospital is now working to keep their doors open any way they can, and the Rural Hospital Association says they're working to get more students in areas like DeWitt and interested in healthcare as a way to help with recruitment efforts. Well, a warning for parents as we approach summer. Nearly 400 children die every year from drowning in pools and spas. Michael George speaks with one mother fighting to prevent more tragedies.
Shazak Sonoda went through a heartbreak no mother should experience.
He was just full of joy and energy.
In 2018, her 3-year-old son Yori drowned in a backyard pool.
When you lose a child this way, it's incredibly painful and challenging to talk about. Oftentimes, at least in my case, there was something that I could have done to save my child, and it just didn't end up working out that way.
Sonoda founded No More Under, a nonprofit dedicated to preventing child drowning deaths. A new government report finds an average of 371 children drown every year in pools and spas.
Are many of these tragedies preventable?
Drownings are 100% preventable.
Sonoda says parents need to learn CPR and make sure they and their children know how to swim. Also, prepare before going to the pool.
Know if there's lifeguards, take a life jacket. Do they have life jackets?
Alex Hohenserek, chair of the Consumer Product Safety Commission, warns parents to keep their eyes on their kids.
We like to say have a designated water watcher. It's an adult who is focused on the kids, not reading a book or looking at the phone.
A little preparation can make sure every child has a safe summer. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, the Justice Department may be nearing an indictment of former President Donald Trump. His lawyers have been told he is a target of an investigation into possible mishandling of classified information. Evidence on the case was presented to a grand jury in Miami on Wednesday. Pope Francis is recovering from a hernia operation. The Pope, who is 86, underwent the 3-hour surgery in Rome yesterday with a good report of no complications. The Pope had parts of his colon removed just 2 years ago and was hospitalized earlier this year with bronchitis. Well, coming up next, we're headed back to Russellville for more cereal drive fun with Tom. Yes, you still have a little time. You want to see Tom today? Make sure you take some cereal out there. But we also have a look at a little bit of weather. Scott?
A little bit of weather indeed. Looking live off our view 11. Looks like we got one of those turkey vultures on top of the Simmons Tower down there. A little one of our avian overlords giving us a look from downtown Little Rock. Hey, we've got some showers, even some storms now popping up on radar. I'll show you where those are and where they're going. Coming right up.